we're bringing you an update. So a black farmer or black farmers are turned away from the White House farmers meeting due to DEI. That's not the way it's supposed to work. But here it is.
But when I tried to attend the president's farm meeting that he had several weeks ago at the White House, there wasn't one black farmer at the table. As a matter of fact, there wasn't one black person in the room. And they told me I couldn't attend the White House meeting, something about they were moving away from DEI. I'm talking to you from my farm. There's no DEI on my farm. You know, my cattle eat the same amount of hay. My tractor burns the same amount of diesel fuel, and I have to be able to produce a crop here just like everybody else.
I'm sorry, what? There was a farm meeting at the White House. You tried to go. Were you there physically? Did they turn you away at the door? Or
well, the farm community is a very small community. So people were telling me that there was going to be a farm meeting. And I reached out to the White House to attend, and that's the feedback that they got. In fact, they said they were moving away from the black farmer issue. They were moving away from DEI and the small farmer issue, and they were focusing on large-scale white farmers and corporate farmers because they produce the most food, is what this administration said.
They are moving away from the black farmer issue. Let me tell you first about the black farmer issue. It's rooted in racism, so of course they don't want you to know that. My dad was a black farmer. And my dad explained the story to me when he received, roughly in the early 2000s, he received a settlement check. Dr. Joseph Lowry was involved in their advocacy. It was because the federal government years ago actively discriminated against providing loans and subsidies to black farmers in favor of white farmers, drying up the black farmer industry by design. That is the black farmer issue. Permeations of that have continued since. All right, let's put them up. Hell of a thing that this is still happening to black landowners, black farmers. John Boyd, president and founder of the National Black Farmers Association, also said the Trump White House is not inviting black farmers to roundtable farm aid discussions back in December. The Trump administration had announced that American farmers will receive $12 billion in relief aid as they struggle to keep their farms afloat because of Trump's policies, by the way. Amid rising costs and a decline in markets. While farmers welcome the economic relief, black farmers, none of whom were invited to the White House's Monday roundtable, are likely to see little of the benefits, maybe none, due to cultural and historical barriers. As a reminder, Boyd, who represents 150,000 black farmers nationwide, explained that due to institutional barriers and cultural mistrust, black farmers have of the federal government as a result of decades of racial discrimination, most black farmers do not report their acreage to the USDA, which is part of the requirement to receive the latest $12 billion in relief. It is not required by law that they report to the USDA. It's not required, okay? But in order to get access to the $12 billion, all of a sudden, the one thing that black farmers typically do not do is the one thing that is required in order to get the $12 billion. You understand the setup, okay? All right. During a recent national conference with thousands of black farmers, Boyd said members were instructed to get a farm serial number and report their acreage to the USDA, which was met with pushback. Quote, they were saying, I don't want the government to know all my business, how much I'm planning, what I'm planning, and when I'm planning, and they don't want to help me, Boyd recalled. Quote, I see and feel that argument. I do because I've been there. But also, when there's a pot of money like this, if you're not in that system, if you're not set up, you can't get the money. The longtime civil rights activist told the Griot, quote, "They do that on purpose," end quote. Adding, quote, "In my professional experience, they do it because they know that that's a way around Black farmers participating." He also says if the farmer can prove that they're farming and prove how much they get, they should get some too. He argued the USDA did not immediately respond to the Griot's request for a comment on the concerns raised by Boyd and Black farmers. Now, many times when there's a rule like this for funding to an industry, especially the number one industry in the world. What's the number one industry in the world? Agriculture. Agriculture is the number one industry on the planet Earth. So usually when you have something this big and you have this barrier, the government provides what's called a cure. You have a cure. What's your cure? Well, the purpose is to document how many acres you have, that you actually do have the capacity to do this. So if you are not officially registered with a certified acreage registry, then this is your cure. Because all we want is for the government or us to know how much farmland in relationship to grant funding. There are many ways, according to Mr. Boyd, that can be proven without the Black farmer having to register officially with the federal government. Okay. The $12 billion one-time payment is intended to provide farmers with a much-needed economic boost as the markets endure the effects of Donald Trump's global tariffs and foreign trade. The U.S. Department of Agriculture said the federal funds to bridge payments for American farmers impacted by unfair market disruptions would be received by the end of this month. Reflecting on the multi-pronged crisis facing Black farmers specifically, Boyd told the Griot, quote, "We shouldn't be losing our farms because of something that this president created through his Trump tariff fiasco." He added, "We shouldn't be losing our farms for low crop prices and markets closing up. All of this stuff happened because of the tariffs that this president put in place." It's so sad. It's extreme. It's diabolical, mean-spirited, inhumane, adverse to what the policy is supposed to do. When they say, well, this is for Americans, and then they eliminate Black people from the conversation, they're telling you who they believe Americans actually are. Ironically, this is the same thing Dr. King preached about multiple times in multiple venues when he said how the government gave land grants to whites who did not have to pay for them, did not have to earn them, gave it to them through an act, creating immediate generational wealth. Nothing like that ever came to Black families, ever. And this is happening again under the auspices of farmland. And Black people, once again, are left out of that conversation too. All right, Jackson, thoughts here.
Yeah, as you pointed out, the reality is that every single time in this country that white Americans have really progressed economically or gotten a big boost, it's because the government helped them get there. If you don't have the levers of industry, then you don't really have much of an ability to just pick yourself up by your bootstraps collectively as an ethnicity. Like everyone isn't that smart. You know what I mean? Like you can't give people that much credit because possibility and access is a real thing. And that's why minority groups still to this day, even though we're outnumbered, have nowhere near the amount of wealth as white America does. I'm not saying that there aren't any poor white people, but just when you compare the statistics, this is why. And also I want to point out the irony of, the Trump administration's stance against DEI when they literally more than once have created programs to where are you white and do you feel like you've been, discriminated against at work? If so, then, call this number and we can get you taken care of. So DEI is cool for white people, but that's also just kind of them trolling the Democrats and trolling minorities in this country like, nah, nah, ha, ha. But lastly, this is just inefficient for the future of this country. Right now, the agriculture in the United States has taken major blows that didn't start in this administration. It's, you can go back to Trump's first administration with the tariffs on China and how much of a dip or hold on the market for soybeans because of Donald Trump's tariffs.
Yep.
So you're already destroying our agricultural markets. You're already ruining our place in the world. And doing this to black farmers is only making it worse. So these types of policies, they may be really enthusiastic about it, but they're ideological. And when you get to the nuts and bolts, it just doesn't work. Taking women out of the economy, taking black people out of the economy, you're going to have less money, you're going to have less productivity. And we got to keep moving the ball forward.
Yeah, and competition breeds a product that allows for choice, for market competition. Okay. And when he eliminates that by way of these extreme tariffs and then eliminates the farmer's ability or opportunity to engage significantly with domestic product, the cost is felt by every single one of us. This is real interesting. I want to get your opinion on this, Jackson. Anti-DEI. Okay. So the administration has told this black farmer, I don't know why just a black man being a farmer coming to a meeting, somehow he's not able to come to a meeting because they're anti-DEI. Sounds like you're anti-black man. That's what it sounds like to me. You're anti-black, not anti-DEI. Because if you were truly anti-DEI, you would not punish a college president or a university's financial well-being because they decided to allow a peaceful protest of the Israeli government if you are anti-DEI. Because last time I checked, Israel is not America.
100%. 100%. Whether, you could look at that, you could look at just like, the effort, like for instance, like the reversal of Roe v. Wade,
right.
The desire to take away the rights for gay marriage, things like that prop up white America, which is DEI. Every attempt to shove everybody else down is inherently diversity, equity, inclusion for the majority. So yeah, it's just a bunch of BS wrapped in rhetoric that we've been hearing for years now. But yeah, no, I agree with you 100%.
Yeah. And they're not even doing the token thing anymore, where they would at least find a token black person to be in the room, like a Tim Scott. They would at least find a Tim Scott-like person to be at the boardroom. They're not even doing the token thing anymore. Even Tim Scott has to communicate with the administration via Twitter, because he's probably not getting his phone calls answered anymore.
Oh, no. And him and nobody else black got a position in the administration, right, except, well, the housing and urban development. We put a black man in there, but everything else, no, thank you.
Yeah.